WJOP Radio 96.3 FM, broadcasting simultaneously on Comcast Channel 9 in Newburyport. And good morning. Our guest is Salisbury Police Chief Tom Fowler. And Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Wynn. Thanks for having me again.
Well, it's nice to have you here today, and it's nice to catch up. This is the day before the storm. You got a big storm coming in, huh?
I see there's some snow coming. So here in New England, you never know.
Yeah.
So I'm sure everyone's getting ready for that. We will be ready, and I'm sure our Public Works Department will be ready and keep the roads clear.
Yeah, those are the important folks. You got to make sure they're out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And now, when you came here, if I remember correctly, there was a flood, wasn't there?
The first winter I was here, I got here in July of 2012. I think it was that winter we had a series of storms, one in March that was a lot of erosion, a lot of flooding. So it was kind of baptism by fire. Or flooding, baptism by flooding, I guess.
Yeah, they don't teach you that stuff in police chief school.
No. And I had come from Connecticut. We live along Long Island Sound, and obviously the Atlantic Ocean's a totally different animal compared to the Sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with tides and rogue waves and storm surges. So it was an adjustment, but I think we do pretty well now.
Yeah. Well, there was an article in the paper. I'm sure you're familiar with the case all too well, about the two people from New Hampshire who they were in court on Monday.
Yes, yesterday.
And they set bail for one of them at $500,000.
Yeah, these were bad guys, and this is a great case of the public helping us out. We had a lady that saw some suspicious activity. She called it in. We went and investigated it and ended up taking a ton of drugs, a loaded weapon off the street. Not sure what these guys' intentions were, whether they're going to do an armed robbery. Both had pretty extensive arrest records. I think that's why the bail is so high. But just a great example of the public working with us, and when somebody sees something, they say something and report the suspicious activity. And my guys, Officer Brian Verney particularly, did an excellent job getting these guys off the street, getting drugs and guns off the street. So it was a good case all around.
So what happens in a situation like that? Do they come up and surround the car? Or maybe I've seen too much live PD. I don't know.
Yeah, we have procedures. You know, it was just reported as suspicious activity. So at the time, we had no idea they were armed. We use certain tactics and precautions because it is dangerous approaching people in those situations. So we were able to approach them and safely get them out of the vehicle, find out what they were doing. Found some stuff in plain sight that led to their arrests, and we actually seized the vehicle and did a search warrant afterwards.
Oh, wow.
For any other items.
Uh-huh.
So great case, and these guys had some records, so that's probably why the bail is so high.
Oh, yeah, definitely for one, the $500,000, and I guess I've never had bail set for me, but
that's a good thing.
But when they set it for cash, that's cash, right?
I believe so. They don't have a bail bond system here in Massachusetts. In Connecticut, they had bondsmen which would come out and put up 90%. Their cost would be 10% in cash. But then if somebody skipped, they'd have to go out and find them because they'd be on the hook for the rest of that bond money.
And that's where the bounty hunter came from.
Exactly. So, and the message really is, you know, while we help people that are substance addicted, that's a big part of what we do. We are not soft on the people that are selling drugs, distributing drugs. You know, we still take that very serious, and it's a dual role. You know, our outreach program works very well, but we're very aggressive with people that choose to deal drugs and choose to commit crimes.
And the outreach program that we've talked about in the past, the person has to want to do it.
Yeah, it's been my experience. That's when we're most successful.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's ordered by the court, or you know, if a loved one or a parent gets a court order to send them to treatment, a lot of times that's not successful. And like I said, my experience, it's been more successful when they want to do it. At some point, they get that moment of clarity where they realize they need help and they're willing to do it. And that's why we want to be there and facilitate that at that moment. A lot of times it may be after an overdose, where they're in crisis. That's why we try and reach out to them at that point and offer services.
Yeah, talking about that, there was a story in the paper about it was numbers from from last year, 2017. And I guess New Hampshire numbers for overdoses were down. However, Seabrook was up a little bit. And it might be just a case of where people are more aware, knowing that they can call and get help.
Yeah, I think the number of overdoses that we experienced last year was pretty similar to the year before. The good news is the fatality rate is lower, and I think that's a result of us carrying Narcan. The fire department always carried Narcan, but more loved ones and people that care about people that are addicted to substances carry it. So while we're not chipping away at the number of overdoses, at least the fatality rate is a little lower.
Mm-hmm. And that's definitely a good thing. Mm-hmm. And these guys that were in court yesterday, Monday, they had fentanyl, which is not good at all. No,
it's a very potent drug. We see a lot of the overdoses involve fentanyl, and happy to get it off the street.
Yeah.
But we will keep plugging along. It's probably just a small part of a bigger picture.
Yeah, my gosh. Well, there's going to have to be some better things going on for the Salisbury Police.
Yeah, we're moving along. We finally combined our fire and police dispatch, so we are dispatching fire out of the police station now. It's been very successful. We've been up and running for a couple of weeks since the last time I spoke with you. So give a lot of credit to my Sergeant Jim Levitt and my lead dispatcher, Monica Carnes. They kind of took the lead on that, and because it took a ton of training. It's kind of a different mindset. Some new equipment we had to install and get them trained on. So everyone's doing a great job, and it's going to be a better service for the citizens of Salisbury. It also helps out the fire department. Instead of having a firefighter back at the station dispatching and answering the phones, he's on the truck with the other firefighters.
Yeah. So there were no fire dispatchers other than firefighters. So
correct.
This was additional work for the police dispatchers.
Yes, we increased the number of civilian dispatchers we have, and they're just public safety dispatchers. So each one can do police and fire. So now we have 2 dispatchers on at all times, because if there is an event, a fire, kind of ties up that one dispatcher. They're basically lifeline to the command structure at the incident, and it's very important they pay attention to that. So they're kind of dedicated to that incident.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And if people on off hours, when the fire department goes on a call, there's nobody left at the firehouse, but there is a phone there to contact dispatch. So if somebody drives up to the firehouse looking for help, they can contact dispatch directly from there, and we can help them. Just like a
hotline, huh?
Yeah.
How about that?
So that's important, because a lot of people will go to a firehouse seeking help. It's right on 110, so it's more centrally located in the police department.
Yeah. We had Newburyport Fire Chief Christopher LeClaire on a couple of weeks back, and he was talking about the birthing center that they have at the West End Firehouse. I don't know, did you catch that story?
No, I did not.
Oh, somebody drove up and they banged on the door. This is the one off Story Avenue. They banged at the door, and they needed help. The woman was going to give birth, and the baby wasn't going to wait. So the 2 firefighters were there. They helped with the birth right there at the fire station.
Excellent.
And they got him down to the hospital after
Excellent.
that.
Yeah, there was a story about an officer in Framingham helped deliver a baby. She did it yesterday or last night, I think. It was on the news.
Yeah.
So I've never done that. I was present for my 2 kids' births, but not involved and not a participant. But we do what we have to do.
Yeah.
That's the business we're in, same as the firefighters.
And you get trained for that too, don't you?
Sure. Yes. Every police officer is a first responder, so they have some medical. They have first aid, CPR. By statute, we're required to have that. So that includes the basics for childbirth as well.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yep.
So anything else going on? Any training sessions or?
No, we're plugging along. Like I said, the dispatch was a big thing to get that behind us. Now that is up and running. I'm meeting with the new executive director of the Chamber of Commerce this afternoon, Tracy Brown. So I know she's got some great ideas for the chamber, and we as the police department want to partner with them. And I think they have a family fun fest coming up in May. So we're going to probably do a canine demonstration, maybe have some of our equipment down there. So there'll probably be more on that, but happy to partner with them, and it's good exposure for us and good community policing.
Oh, definitely. Now, what's the K9's name?
Herc,
Herc.
short for Hercules. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Now, Herc's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been a very successful program. Sergeant Rich Delaria has kind of taken that. He was an officer when he started, but I was able to recently promote him to sergeant. So he still maintains his status as a handler, and it's been a very successful program. And, we partner with Amesbury and now Seabrook. So Rich has supervisor responsibilities now. So if he's not available to go to another town, they have a good system in place to make sure towns get a K9 if they need it.
Mm-hmm. And they really help out with those car searches, don't they?
Yes. Our K9 is cross-trained, so he has patrol techniques and he can detect drugs. So, it's a ton of work. It's person really needs to be dedicated. At some point, Herc will be retired. I think he's working on 5 years now, and it's usually 6 to 7 years. So I know Sergeant Delaria has mentioned he wants to let somebody else do it if we continue the program, which I hope we're able to.
Yeah. And that's probably all through a grant, isn't it?
It started that way.
Yeah.
We got a grant to make the initial purchase, but it's important enough that the town has supported it through my operating budget. The grant kind of ran out last year, but I rolled that into my operating budget.
Oh, okay. That's right. It's budget season, isn't it?
Yes, I saw the article about Triton in the paper this morning, and that kind of has a trickle-down effect to us. When the town manager looks at the budget, it's how much does Triton need? And then that kind of affects us. So a couple new department heads, new fire chief, new DPW director. So I know we'll all be looking for keep our budgets intact. And it's an interesting process. But Triton really affects the departments in town.
Yeah, right. I think if I read the article correctly, everybody's expecting almost a 10.5% increase.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
That comes from somewhere.
Myself and the other chiefs of police that are in the Triton School District met with Brian Forgett, the superintendent, last week on another issue, and it was part of our conversation. But it's part of being a regional school system. They do a great job there, and costs a lot, but they do a good job.
Yeah, they certainly do. All right. Well, Tom, I want to thank you for joining us. Anything else you'd like to bring up?
No, just be safe driving tomorrow. Take extra time with the snow, and take your time.
Yeah.
There's no rush to get anywhere. This is winter in New England, so this is probably the last hurrah. Once we get into March, things will start warming up a little bit.
I think so. I was looking at the Old Farmer's Almanac, and they had it called.
Did they really?
and they do their they do their forecast in like July the previous year. So
yeah.
They had it. But then again, February is one of the snowiest months. Is the snowiest month of the year.
Good thing it's a short month.
That's right. Too. How many months have 28 days
exactly.
in them? All right. Hey, thank you so much, Tom, and we'll see you later.
Great. Thank you, Win.
All right. Salisbury Police Chief Tom Fowler, our guest this morning, here on WJOP Radio 96.3 FM, broadcasting simultaneously on Comcast Channel 9 in Newburyport.